over here. AP rounds. Well, what's up everybody? This is Gunter Severloh. Today I have a little project for you, and it is a new mission that I built. We are currently on my Steam workshop, and this new mission can be found right here. This new mission is called Knights of the Sky. Alright, this new mission is basically a World War II based practice mission for pilots that specialize in air-to-ground combat. This has a number of features in it, and it has a script in it called the Virtual Vehicle Spawner. Some of you may have heard of it, and it has some things to basically spawn planes. And this mission requires IFA-3 secret weapons reloaded, and it requires the original secret weapons mod. Now, before I continue here, as you can see, it says leaving soon, which means that this mod is going to be taken down real soon or in the nearby future here. So what I highly recommend is, if you have this, if you're already subscribed to this mod, I suggest make a copy of it so that when the mod gets taken down, then you're still able to use the mod or basically play with it. And if you never used the mod before and you really kind of like this sort of thing, then I suggest subscribe to it and make a copy of the mod, because when the mod is taken down, there's not going to be any way to basically link a copy, and it's not allowed to upload a copy to the workshop. So that's my disclaimer for that. Let's go into the mission, and I'm going to give you guys a demonstration of the mission and show you some of the features. I'll see you there. Alright guys, we are now on the main menu of Arma 3. So the way you play this mission is you're going to go to multiplayer, server browser, host a server, put all your details in, and basically we're going to play this through MP LAN because it has a respawn function to it, among other things. So this mission can be found on the map called Severloh, Poland, 1944, and I had subscribed to my own mission, so basically it'll be in orange, and of course the screen comes up for it and some information, which is pretty much the same as the workshop. And I have to restart it because I was playing it earlier. Once you get to the screen here, this is a 4-player co-op. There's really no enemy AI. There's no objectives like tasks or anything. I'll show you, but I could always increase this number if you have multiple players that want to play this. But it's mainly, like I said, it's a training mission, something to practice. So these roles don't have anything special about them except for the top role. So if you're going to play by yourself, I suggest picking the top role because that has Zeus tied to it, so you can access Zeus while in game. So once you pick your role, go to the parameter. There's only 2 parameters. You could choose the weather. I'm going to leave it on cloudy. And then of course you got the time of day. Start at 7 a.m. and that's basically it for the parameters. And just hit OK. The mission starts. Get your loading screen. And here we are on the map. So once you're on the map, you're going to notice basically like all different kinds of markers. I'll go over that in a minute. And then we have a briefing. So I have a brief briefing. This one's the introduction. The introduction says, "Welcome. This is a World War II training mission for players that like to fly, spawn a plane, and engage the various ground targets or spawn enemies using Zeus." Of course, on the features tab, list all the various features. They're all on the workshop page as well. You could read that and just hit continue. Okay, once you spawn in, I'm going to get my little intro at the bottom right here, and you're basically just a pilot. So I start you off with no weapons, but if you somehow crash or get yourself killed, you'll spawn and you'll have a pistol. But anyways, so this is basically the layout. So you have two signs here, and you got two markers on the ground, and basically those two signs, one spawns planes for secret weapons reloaded, and one spawns planes for secret weapons itself. I'll show you that in a second. Alright, here I put a medical tent down because sometimes if you crash into a tree or hit the ground too hard on a landing or somehow injure yourself flying, I've done it, you could always come here and heal yourself. Now at this sign, come to the sign, and basically all the sign is for is to recruit infantry. And the only thing you could recruit is a pilot. That's kind of how that works. If we go over here, if you look in your action menu, you can see at my bottom left here, it says insert earplugs. Now if you insert the earplugs, it'll just lower the volume. You could always take them out, and you can hear the sound kind of comes back, and that's what that does. Another feature is if you press tab on your keyboard, you'll get a view distance settings. This is done by scripts. I recommend that you put down your video settings down to something like 2,000 meters, whatever your computer can handle, and then set the in-air view as high as you can manage. I usually have it about 8,000, 9,000 meters, and that won't really tax your game. Something to keep in mind, and it's useful. You'll find out once you get up in the air, and that's how that works. One more thing is when you're flying around in a plane, there is a fuel consumption script, so if you're flying around for a long time, then expect that your fuel will be used up and basically consumed. Alright, so if we go to the map here, you'll see a lot of different markers all over the place, and currently if you zoom in on the airfield itself, you're going to see a bunch of markers. Right about here there is a respawn marker. That's the respawn flag, so if you get yourself killed somehow, you crash, what have you, you'll respawn in 5 seconds, and you'll respawn basically where I'm at right now. And then those two signs, the sign is here and the sign is here. Basically these icons here represent where the planes will spawn when you spawn them. So you have you could spawn secret weapons reloaded planes, and you could spawn secret weapons planes itself, and I have them marked accordingly. And then there's two different markers. You have an instant rearm, refuel, and repair marker. This is like an area. All you have to do is basically either taxi or fly through this little area, and you'll instantly rearm, refuel, and repair your plane. Or you could do it manually. This is usually if you're on the runway and if you're gonna taxi, taxi basically to go fly. You're gonna go through this trigger next to the vehicles, and you'll rearm, refuel, and repair and stuff. You could do that. Now back to the markers. All the targets on the map, you have all these markers. All these markers represent little areas on the map that there are convoys. Most of the map are convoys, and the convoys are set up at various positions. You have also AT guns set up. Convoys are on different roads. You can see I have a convoy here. It's not in the forest. I gotta adjust that marker, but he's in between the trees. So engaging a convoy like this is, I don't want to say it's challenging, but it has its challenge, because you have to adjust your height and your speed and all that stuff in order to gauge a convoy. So you only have so much time to basically take out vehicles when you're in kind of close proximity of trees and stuff. And then here you have a field full of tanks and artillery guns and so forth. And of course there's various convoys. Got multiple AT guns all over the place. And then there's more of them here. So you got different convoys, AT guns. The convoys make up like vehicles, different vehicles and different tanks and stuff like that. And if you come down here, I also have an airfield you can attack or land at. Now again, like I said, there's no enemy on the map, so you don't have to worry about getting shot down. You can access Zeus, and the way you do that is you press Y. So you just press Y, and you can access Zeus and put down anything that you want. Now, since we are in Zeus at the moment, I'm going to turn off the HUD and scroll out so we can get a kind of a bigger overview of the mission map here. So it's nothing spectacular, but the whole point of the mission again is to practice and engage different targets on the ground. So I guess, as you can see here, you have the two signs, and the planes will spawn exactly on these markers, and when they spawn they'll be facing the runway here. And then you have this is a huge trigger. That's what the blue arrow's for. Don't worry, if you taxi through the blue arrows, you don't have to worry about damaging the plane, because the arrow, you could just drive through the arrows. They're just indicators of where this marker is. It's actually pretty big. It goes infinite to the sky. So you have this reload, rearm, repair, and then you have this one. So this one's instant. This one you could taxi through, and you could also just fly through it if you want. It's a good way to just keep flying and just, you know, keep practicing. All right, let's take a look at some of the objectives. And so you have, like I said, you have different convoys. They're all set up. They're not going to move. There's no AI in them. Different convoys with tanks and stuff. And I like convoys because there's many different ways to attack them. So it really depends what you attack them with. So you have a field of tanks here. And then we have anti-air guns, AT guns, and of course convoy over here, a convoy of tanks here. I mainly practice as a German pilot with German planes, because when I play in my co-op group, we're always playing on the German side, so this is a map that I used to practice on a lot. A convoy of vehicles. We got various tanks, and then of course we got AT guns. There's no AI manning them, so over here we have a convoy of different vehicles. So depending on which type of guns you use based on the plane that you're flying, you have soft targets, and then you have soft targets but have armor. So destroying certain targets over others are going to be, it'll depend on what, you know, guns you're using, you know, between a machine gun or a, you know, more heavy caliber gun that will do more damage. I got a convoy next to a village. So I have these convoys all over the place, as you can see. And the point of this is to give you a different perspective on how you approach and attack these various targets. You got an AT gun. You have an AT gun over here, which we found right there. There's one actually over here, right next to the tree. And then out here, you have a convoy coming through the hills, mostly tanks and a couple soft targets. And if you come over here, we have another field of tanks, anti-air and anti-tank. We have another convoy here, and then we have AT gun, and then we have a convoy up in here. Like I said, these convoys are in the forest here, will present a challenge. And then there's, I should put another one in here. Let's get to the signs themselves. So if you have secret weapons reloaded, we load it up. I set up the config in the virtual vehicle respawner. equals spawner. As you can see here, it came up. All you have to do is you come up to the side and you scroll your action menu. If you don't have secret weapons reloaded, loaded up when you start the mission, then you won't have a list. You know, you'll still have the menu, but there will be no airplanes in the list. So all these planes that you see listed are all the planes I added through class name, and these are all secret weapons reloaded and flying legend planes. So we could spawn one of these planes, and you can see where the plane spawns. And if we come over here, we have the same thing, except this is just the secret weapons mod itself. And you just scroll your action menu, and the secret weapons mod has a real large list, so this took quite a little bit to get all the class names for this. Going to spawn a plane in. That's the plane I'm gonna do my testing with today. So we got 2 planes. I recommend something for you guys. If you want to change the pylons of your planes, that means changing out the bombs for guns or vice versa, then I put a recommendation for another mod in there called Planes Loadout Anywhere, or you could also use Ace. That's another way to do it. Alright, so let's get up in the air. I'm going to actually recruit some AI to kind of be my co-pilot on this. This guy will spawn in a few seconds and follow you around.
In Reihe formieren.
Alright, so I'm going to use this plane to demonstrate, and now if you're using... One sec. Let's get this guy on the plane.
2. Auf. Flugzeug. Aufsitzen. Jawohl.
Alright, so if you planes load out anywhere, you'll have an action in your action menu, and this is only when the plane's engine is off. So you basically just scroll through that, and then you'll get a menu that comes up, and you could load up the plane with whatever bombs or guns you want. In this case, I'm going to be set up BK-37s because this is what I use to practice a lot, and these are AP rounds. And then once you got your loadout set up, you just hit escape, and then you'll look at the top right, you'll notice that there's no ammo for those. So what you need to do is you have to actually rearm and refuel. So for this, put my earplugs in. You can just go up to this rearm repair. This doesn't take very long. This is a script. This is fairly fast. This is mainly for if you're taxiing. And there you are, you're done. And then I'll show you the one over there when we're flying. So you just taxi out of here. I'm gonna get in the air and I'll shoot a few targets and give you guys the idea how this works, and go from there. Alright, you can see that there's targets everywhere. The way you want to do this is I'll give you guys a couple of tips if you want. I'm gonna try to keep this short though. As you practice, you want to practice going slow. So we're gonna switch to AP rounds for 37mm. could use AP rounds against soft targets. It'll do a lot of damage. That's if you hit them. Yeah, so we got that tank already. Now I just want to let you know that every target that you destroy, every one of these vehicles or tanks that you destroy will respawn within between 100 seconds and 300 seconds. So 300 seconds is about 5 minutes. So each target will respawn, and you don't have to worry about having targets to shoot at because there's plenty of them. So let's hit some more targets. So the whole point of having these targets all over the place so that you can hit them is to basically, this is about repetition. I want to keep this one point in mind, that repetition is the mother of skill. So the more repetition you get in this, and this is what I designed this for, the more repetition you get into hitting different targets, and that's why they're all over the place, is to develop a type of skill and engage in various targets. When you hit convoys, you usually want to try to hit them from the side. It really depends on what your loadout is on your plane, and the dispersion and the kind of like the cone of fire. So you can see that we destroyed a few targets. Now, a plane like this, as you can see, the dispersion, it only has so much convergence at the end. So you kind of want to make use of those rounds and engage the targets on, lengthwise. If you go like this, whoops, didn't want to do that. All right, so now we're low on AP rounds for my 37 millimeters. So basically, as you can see the marker here, this will instantly rearm refill your plane. And once you go through it, you'll get a hint that comes up. It says the plane is being rearmed, repaired, and refueled. So you can see that I have all fresh new rounds, just like that. That's how that works. Pretty useful for this. I usually like to fly low and slow for this because it allows you ample time to engage targets. The thing is, it takes a little bit of skill to learn to maneuver around the trees and different obstacles in this, and that's the whole point. Learn to turn in sharp moves. Now, the faster you go, the reduction of response time you're going to have, so that's something to keep in mind. And you got smaller targets, which are a little bit more challenging to hit. AP rounds will instantly destroy those. Let's get some more ammo. I guess we didn't fly right through it. It's alright. So as you can see, yeah, that did a lot of damage. So let's choose another plane. Whatever plane that you fly, you could always put off to the side and spawn another plane. So you'll have different planes to choose from if you wanted to keep practicing. Just like that. Leave my co-pilot in there. Alright, so let's spawn another plane. Now if you have a plane already there, you could actually spawn a plane over it and it's in its place. Let's choose a P-51. And if you got planes loadout anywhere mod loaded, and then you could choose your loadout. I usually like to choose my loadout. Alright, so that's basically what we got. So like I said, you have different targets you could shoot, and depending on the plane that you're using, its loadout, its dispersion, its cone of fire, there's different things that when you shoot at them, it'll be different versus other guns, obviously. So different speeds and different angles and different heights will have to change. You'll have to adjust accordingly. So certain planes are better used for approaching different targets over others. Like if I use rockets here, it might be okay to use those, but then I won't really hit too many targets. There's actually a convoy over here. Yeah, I'm gonna fall short. Probably at least got a couple of vehicles with that. Yep. So the idea is to keep moving, keep hitting targets. If you wanted to rearm, just fly over here. Make sure you fly to the trigger. And there you go. Now we got bombs and rockets again. We got a convoy over here. Got bombs over here. Bomb some stuff. Tanks. Right on. That should have destroyed it. I hope you guys find this mission useful and aids in your practice. Just remember what I said about secret weapons at the beginning of the video. I'll leave a link to this mission in the description of the video and in the top comment. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Bye.